which gets us on to educating Ricky.
Oh, excellent, slick.
We've had a good year of stuff, teaching stuff.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Can you remember any of the
highlights? Of course I can. There was a deaf girl and she hit her head and she could hear. Yeah. There was also some people who ate tomatoes thought they were poisonous on lead. There was also a doctor who gave a blood transfusion with some parrots from the pet store. Yeah. Because the doctor in America, and it was the olden days when the lines were bad, said give him his parents' blood, and the doctor this side thought said give him some parrot's blood. So that was true, and that educated me.
That was fact. What have you got for us?
Well, we've only got two, because I've taught you about jellyfish today, that we need them, so we've only got two things to go at, and I give them a little headline so you remember them to make them snappy. The two headlines you've got, oh, what a catastrophe.
Okay.
And the second one is, well, you'd think it'd be Bughead, wouldn't you?
What?
Well, you'd think it'd be Bughead, wouldn't you?
You'd think it'd beat...
No, you'd think it'd be...
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be Buggered, wouldn't you?
Bughead.
Bughead.
This can't be... If this is anything with a bug living without a head, I'm not interested. Because we've done it. All you've done is...
Let's just do, what a cat.
So it is that. Do that one first?
Which one are we doing?
No, do the Bughead one.
Right, well, the Bughead one. Well, we've talked a lot about animals and that, haven't we, without heads.
Surprisingly, we have. I think a disproportionate amount on it.
If you're a new listener, and this is the first time you listen, you'd be surprised.
We've done all that. We've covered worms. The way if you cut their head off, it grows back. If you don't cut too high above its neck. We've covered
the chicken,
the fella who blinked.
Yeah. I can't go into it again.
Right.
Let's not go into it again.
We've had the chicken with no head that lived for 8 months.
Yeah. And we've had cockroaches
living for a week without an head.
Right, okay.
Well, it's a bit more on the cockroach front, really.
Right.
They found, right, that if you get a cockroach and you cut its head off, right, and then you find a cockroach that's still got its head, but it hasn't got any legs.
Right.
Right, it's not over for both of them, right? Because what you can do, you get the one that's got the legs,
right,
with no head, sort of running around, get the one with the head, sit it on top of it,
right,
get a little tube,
okay,
so that the fluids...
So is this auntie's go out of the room?
Finish.
Is this like Blue Peter? You can get this for Christmas.
Right, you get a little tube, you sit that on top so the bodily fluids are still running between the two.
Right.
The head of the one on the top will control the feet of the one on the bottom.
Okay.
What about that?
Good.
And, will it continue to live?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't know that for sure, do you?
That was just a question out of the blue he wasn't expecting.
What do you think of that?
It's good, yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's just a primitive nervous system that can, yeah.
Did you expect us to be more impressed and excited by that? Well, did you fall off your chair when you read that? Did you literally topple off? Did
you think you were going to be the Frankenstein of the insect world?
Yeah. No, I just was thinking if they can do that, you know,
with them, can they do it with
humans? Because I also did a bit of research.
Of course
on...
you did.
Did you come to the sort of conclusion that apart from the moral aspect of it, that the human was probably more complicated than...
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Things move on, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Science, Rick.
You know, I had Binatone as a kid. Now they've got PlayStation 2, and the difference in 10 years.
They have found that if you lose your head, a cockroach can live normally on your body, but not the other way around. Your head on it cannot control its legs because it's too complicated for your brain. So yeah.
Well,
so
then other research. Because I thought if you don't learn from that, I'll give you something else for free, right?
Go on.
For free. That they can clone people. The only reason they don't do it, right? Say if like Ricky needed a lung, right? They could clone you and make you the same. But the only reason they don't want to do it is because it'd be a bit horrible, wouldn't it? So
and it would take sort of 18 years for me to get an adult lung.
And there's all kinds of moral implications.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? You hadn't thought of that?
Because lest we forget, Rick, he ended with the only reason they don't do it is because it's a bit horrible and that. Which scientist said that?
Alright, let's
That's a quote.
Right.
Longest long up there.
That's not it. That's not the other one.
That's it.
No, that was just, you know.
We've got another one to come.
Oh, I can't wait.
The headline again? What was the headline
The
again?
headline, oh, what a catastrophe.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, a bit more counsel. This is from his covers album. This is called Snowbird.
He's so happy that the XFM listeners understand his stupid clues, and he knows it annoys me.
We've got some right answers
We'll be
for
giving out the
Rockbusters.
answers just quickly, just in case someone sort of missed one of them. I'll just quickly do them, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
First one, there's a load
Your
of letters.
show.
There's a load of letters there asking for advice. Put them on Claire's desk.
Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Ask your mum if you should.
Oh, and Merry Christmas.
And a couple of people were arguing in the supermarket.
It was
at the fruit
Christmas,
and
that's
veg
why.
counter. And that's B.
Okay, we'll give those answers out shortly.
Yeah.
I just have to show you something, Rick, before we move on. I know we've got another Educating Ricky, but someone just sent this in.
Yeah.
They've been looking on eBay for Victoria Plum.
You're joking?
Come here and see the photograph.
Oh, God, that's fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
have a look.
That's it.
Oh, God, he got that for his mum.
It's the worst piece of cat I've ever
Oh,
seen.
Carl! Oh, Carl. Imagine how... Oh,
Gutted.
Carl. Imagine how... Look, think of him now, right? There it is. Oh, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. I'll tell you, it looks like a Diddy man gone wrong.
It's
it looks like
extraordinary.
a Diddy man prostitute. That is...
Is that the one, Carl? Is that...
Well, it was a different colour. It had a yellow at mine.
No, but look, how do they get... Tell them they
Okay, so,
going to eBay.
So you need to log on to ebay.co.uk. I'm sure you've used it before. It's the online marketplace, ebay.co.uk. And if you type in Victoria Plum, I'm assuming that you can track this down.
That's amazing.
It's the worst piece of
Oh,
rubbish
just
I've ever
think
seen.
how cute he was as a kid, though, doing that. Just think of him, just going... just seeing that and thinking, oh, like, he likes gnomes! It's the worst thing I've ever seen!
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't know what her prize collection of gnomes looks like, but I can't imagine they're much better than that. I mean, gnomes are a fairly grotesque thing. But certainly your mum's taste and discretion is...
Did you ever, those houses on your estate, you'd go in there and it was just loads of those dolls still in their packaging all around the room? And sort of like, one of those homes that keeps the, sort of packaging on the three-piece suite.
Why don't you buy another one for her for Christmas?
Yeah.
It's $3.99. It looks like that's £2.49 because that was $3.99.
Well,
Oh, buy it, Carl.
I've got her. I've sorted out her passport this year. Anyway, I'll get her that next year. Right. So listen, right.
Okay.
So that's Educating Ricky of the year.
Oh, Christ.
What a cat toast.
Yeah, let's do that then. Victoria Plum.
There's this woman, right?
Yeah.
This woman, she's reading Guinness Book of Records,
Yeah.
and she's flicking through,
Yeah.
and she notices that there's a world record for a cat, right, with 27 toes, right? So she reads it and she thinks, well, that's not right, because her cat's got 28.
What do you mean your cat's got 28?
Her cat's got 28 toes. So she was like, well, hang on a minute, mine should be in there. So there was
I
like,
missed the very beginning of this.
she was,
She's looking through the Guinness Book of Records. Sees the
woman.
record.
A woman was looking through the Guinness Book of
The one
Records.
with the cat with 28 toes looking
Right.
through, and it said the record for the cat's toes was 27. She thought, hold on. Hold on a minute, Ross McWhirter. My cat's got one more than that cat, so go on.
anyway, so she said, you know, the person doing the interview with her said, you know, is it happy? And she said, yeah, you know, it's great, and it's really good in the snow.
Right. It gets through a lot of nail varnish.
Well, you know, that's what it said, right? It said it's really good in the snow. So, I just was thinking, I mean, that's it, really.
That's not it.
That's the end of that story. But
Brilliant.
But what I'm thinking is, right...
It was two cats welded together.
No, she said, you know, it's happy. So, is the other sort of disabilities where, in a way, it's not all bad?
Oh, Christ.
No, do you know, like, that book Steve brought in for me? And there was a fella there, wasn't there, who had 3 legs, who was a juggler. And I was like, what's the point of that?
What do you mean, what's the point of that? What's the point
Well,
of
he's
what?
not taking advantage of having 3 legs, is he, being a juggler?
Yeah, he said he should be a footballer.
Right? So, no, but in a way, he's used it, hasn't he? He's probably not even that good at juggling. But because he's got 3 legs, people have gone, well, I'll give him a chance. Let's go and see him anyway, see if he's any good.
Yeah.
Right? So, what I'm thinking is, is there anything else? We've mentioned, the midgets today who are good at robbing cars. Because they can get through the windows like Dukes of Hazzard.
Sorry, so listen, I'd just like to say, this is the radio authority listening, we are in no way suggesting that one, midget's forte in life is robbing cars, or that if you're a midget sitting at home feeling sorry, I think you should go out robbing cars. I'd just like to say, this is Karl Pilkington talking.
The views of Karl Pilkington do not necessarily reflect those of XFM or us.
Yeah, but it was a TV programme, so it's not me, I'm just saying what I've seen on
That
telly.
you didn't see?
That somebody told me about.
Yeah, just so you could be wrong, just like a lot of your spurious facts you just see on the internet, you know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else? We've seen the fellow with the 3 legs.
So what you're saying is there a disability that is actually an advantage?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Steve mentioned about the disabled loo. They're always really roomy and like got multi-gym facilities in them.
Multi-gym facilities!
Oh, do you know what I mean?
Multi-gym facilities! What do you mean, Karl?
There's always bars everywhere and that, isn't there?
That's not parallel bars.
Yeah,
That's
they
to help
don't
them
do
get up.
gymnastics!
What in there working
Yeah,
out?
but I'm just saying though, do you know what I mean? So in a way, they've got that. So, always, what I'm saying is, when you look on the brighter side, it's like Elephant Man would have never got up and gone, oh, look at my hair today.
Nor do you!
No, but, do you know what I mean? He would never have that problem.
You're a maniac.
Forget it. I thought we'd be able to get a serious discussion going here.
Well, okay then. So, this is a serious discussion, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's treat it sensitively then. If you really want a serious discussion and talk about whether there are some disabilities that are an advantage, let's think of some then, shall we?
Well, I've said 3 already.
Yeah, you can't say, if you're deaf, Bobby Davery won't annoy you. That doesn't count as an advantage. Do you understand? Do you know what I mean?
Carl's looking at you thinking, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, well, we'll leave it then. I'll come up with a better feature for next year.
Oh.
We'll bin that.
So,
If you've got any disabilities...
we've been that like that was going to be a feature.
What, you were hoping that would be a spin-off feature? Disabilities, they're actually
Well, it's
an
another
advantage.
form of do we need them? It's like...
But that's Carl, think of it, it's like that joke, a bloke that, as his wakes up in hospital, says, good news and bad news. Bad news is we've had to amputate both legs. What's the good news? The fellow in the next bed wants to buy your slippers. See, that's not an advantage. It's a joke. That doesn't really happen. People don't go, oh, that is good news. Yeah, I'll probably get a quid for him. Do you know what I mean?
But the fellow with 3 feet, what would he do?
Well, he'd buy a pair and then just nick one of those because they put out one shoe, don't they? Are those, yeah, if you've got one leg, you can nick shoes. Good point,
Right,
Karl.
now I'm getting you thinking.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll do Rockbusters Answers next then.
Happy Christmas, war's over and all that.
Indeed, yeah.
Brilliant tune.
Great tune. And
Well,
sentiments.
I've had a great time. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope we haven't offended you by some of Karl's rantings. Just think of what he's gone through in his life. That Victoria Plum incident.
Carl, I've got a little gift for you here before we go.
Oh, you're joking, I haven't got you anything.
Well, no, I don't, you haven't got your girlfriend anything. I wasn't expecting much. It's not exciting, but it's worth taking. In fact, why don't you just re-gift that straight away?
It's alright, cheers for that.
He hasn't even looked at it.
Champagne.
That's not the champagne we got free from the BBC, is it?
It's not actually, no, Rick, because that is far too good for the likes of Karl.
Oh, right.
And I wasn't good, so he wouldn't appreciate it. That's just sparkling wine.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he doesn't know the difference.
I'm seeing Karl on Christmas Day, because, he's around Christmas Day in London, so I'll get a little gift then, Karl.
Alright.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? It'd be a nice little...
Okay, answers. We must give the answers.
You would have to go to bed at 6, though, so we can play.
So, can we finish there now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you mean? What do you mean, can we finish there now?
Just play the ads and go.
What? No, what are you talking about? We're going to play Johnny Nicholas
Johnny
and
Nicholas.
Crimson all day.
Play that then.
Goodness me, Carl, look at you.
We haven't got time.
Merry Christmas, Carl.
Merry Christmas, Karl.
Enjoy the
Let's give him a little kiss.
Oh, a little kiss.
Oh, no,
With tongues, it's Christmas.
No, don't. Stop messing about. Get up!
He said, that Ollie's record, he and Evie's my brother, what's that about then? And I went, I don't know, I heard, it was about someone who had a disabled brother, and, he was lifting him in and out of a car or something, and someone said, oh, do you want a hand? And he went, no, he's not heavy, he's my brother. I.e., this isn't a burden for me.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Karl, what did you say?
I'd say...
No, I'll tell you what he said, he went, that's ridiculous, he was still heavy. And he said, don't turn down help.
Which we were talking about that because a new feature we're starting about this time every week.
Oh, yeah.
We start about this time every week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do, that song's got a good story.
Okay.
Yeah, love it, snappy. Go on, go on.
And, there's loads of songs out there, isn't there, with songs that you couldn't fade out. When you hear them on the radio and that, you don't want anyone to talk over the start or the end.
Yeah.
Because
but remember we did this one before with, Killing a Georgie by, Rod Stewart?
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried that it might have been a true story, because we were, you know, joking about it. And, he went, oh, you know that Killing a Georgie? He went, I think it is a true story. I went, why? He went, I listened to it again, and Rod Stewart at the beginning says, this is one of my best friends. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's genius.
So there's loads of songs out there, and what I want to do, we want to get the audience involved in this, so if you've got, like, a favourite song that's got a really good
If you've got an
story,
audience. Yeah, go on.
and they email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, and they say what the song is now.
What would examples be then?
Examples, ones that jump to mind straight away for me, Elvis, In the Ghetto.
Yeah, good one.
Brilliant.
Andrew Gold, Lonely Boy.
Absolutely.
Don't know that one.
Eminem, Stan.
Right. Yeah. Good one. You couldn't fade it out, could you? Because you go, well, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Not just any sort of pop song that keeps repeating itself. And, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it skips or, you know what I mean, if you turn the radio off.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
Ernie,
songs.
the fastest milk in the world.
Yeah, that is a good story. That is a good story. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a story, yeah.
Ted from Teddington, he drove the baker's van.
Well,
So what have we got then? Have we got one?
so we're going to kick it off today with, Stevie Wonder, Living Just Enough for the City.
Okay.
And, just briefly.
Sum it up. Right,
Yeah.
if you are nipping out, maybe you're in the car and you're about to pull up somewhere and get out, what it's all about is a lad who's growing up in, like, America in some rough area, right? And, he's trying his best to do well and get a job and everything, but because of where he's from, it's stopping him doing that, right? It's like how I grew up on an estate in Manchester. I had to leave there and come to London to do alright for myself, right? And it's his whole family, and it's a tale of, like, how his mum works dead hard and works loads of hours, but the kids are always well dressed and cleaned. It doesn't mean just because you haven't got a good job, you let your house run down. Do you know what I mean? She's looking after it. The sister, you know, she hasn't got new clothes, but they're always clean, and her knees are clean, I think it says in one point.
Good. Excellent. Clean knees, always important.
So will we give it a listen, let everyone
Brilliant,
hear
it's
it?
a
Well, I
great
don't
track.
think Stevie can do it justice. After that explanation.
Right, so,
I'm not sure he's
I
going to
hope he
top
uses,
that.
like, some sort of, like, backing tune to try and,
Try and pep it up a bit, 'cause
Yeah.
you have really knocked it to the socks off
so-
it.
brilliant. I'm looking forward to the
right, here
clean
we go
knees.
then. It's a new feature.
What is it called again?
The story in that song's really good. Here's Stevie Wonder. Right, songs with good stories that you can't fade out.
Although you can heavily edit them for
Yeah, I
them.
noticed you didn't play the full version, which
No,
has
it's
obviously
radio.
got the complete story in. You've just played a
I haven't heard the other, that's
single
all I
version.
know.
Well, in the album version,
He gets
goes to jail.
abducted. He gets abducted as well, and he comes back with a big beard.
Yeah, and he's
No.
covered in hair. No,
No.
he gets arrested and goes to jail. But it's just, you know, it's just because he gets picked up because he's black and he hasn't done anything wrong. There's a whole other
never heard of that
sort
one.
of section.
Maybe we should change this section.
No, what we'll do, right?
Abridged versions of songs.
Yeah.
No, next week we'll play the second bit, and it'll be like Star Wars or something like that.
So, go on.
Remember last week we
Yeah.
started a new feature
Yeah.
called That Song's Got a Good Story in It. And
Brilliant. I love your catchy titles. They're excellent.
right, and the idea was it was a story in
Yeah.
a song, which meant that if it was played on the radio, you couldn't just, like, fade it out, because you've got to have the full story.
Yeah.
Right, well, last week we started the feature with Stevie Wonder, Living for the City,
Yeah.
right?
But you played the version where it fades out.
Yeah, I didn't know there was more to it, so Steve told me what album it was on.
Yeah.
I've gone and got it. We've got the second half to that story
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
So, you've got half the story. What was it? What had happened is, like, the lad's living in Mississippi. There's not much going on there.
Mississippi. That's someone off Rainbow's mum. Living, what, Mississippi?
Yeah. His dad's, his mum was a cleaner.
Yeah.
Trying to get by. They didn't have a great life, but they still looked after the kids and stuff. There's more to it than that.
Have you got it ready?
There's more to it than
I haven't got it
that!
ready.
I should hope so!
We'll probably do it at about 11:30.
So look forward
Okay.
to that, the second half
got
of
that.
Stevie Wonder's Living for the City, a week later. I love a show that's carefully planned. So listen,
this isn't a show. This isn't a show. This isn't a radio show. This is.
I don't know what this is.
No, I don't know what it is. We just might as well start banging tambourines and it's ridiculous. This is rubbish, right? But wait, like, some people emailed in, put him in a wheelie bin, went to Blackpool, right? Some people emailed in the songs with stories in, and one of them was Babushka, and he went, "What's that?" And I went and asked Katie Bush, what is it? I said, oh, it's about a woman who dresses up as another woman and seduces her husband. He went, they wouldn't work. Just dismissed it like that. Why do you think it would work?
Because you'd know. I mean, say like, right, Suzanne, right, who I go out with, right? She can see me from, say if I'm coming down the high street, she knows it's me by the way I walk.
Right.
So, just the fact that this woman went and put a wig on, there is no...
You haven't even heard the song!
I know, but you're saying that she put a disguise on and he's like, oh, I fancy her, and he takes her out, and he doesn't know it's his missus. It's just...
You're not buying it?
I mean, I'm controlling this
Whereas
feature.
the flea with your brain going to Glasgow, perfect sense.
So last week, you were playing your feature, that song I shouldn't switch off because I'm enjoying the story. And we played Living for the City, only you played the single mix, which doesn't have the entire second act, if you will. So, Carl, you've not heard it before. You're excited. You're excited to hear the second act, because as far as you're aware, there was a young guy, he's living with his family, they're fairly impoverished in Mississippi, but, you know, they're happy, they're getting on alright. But you're not even aware that he's moving to the big city.
No, it just fades out.
Well, that's the city in question.
I mean, I've liked this song for, must be, you know, 3 or 4 years, and I've always listened to the single version. I had no idea that I didn't know the full story. So,
It's not, I mean, and I know your attention to detail, you like to know the full story, like, where everything was.
Well, the whole idea of the feature is to say, you know, you've got to listen to the song.
Where was the lead plate thing? Where was the lead plate thing? Where was the lead plate thing?
That was like a few years back.
Where was it?
In Britain and Scotland.
Yeah.
It was a problem all over the world. They had to deal with it.
You're making it up now.
Is it something you saw in Lord of the Rings?
Right, so anyway.
So the Lion and the Witch, go on.
Go on.
So far then, what did we learn in this story from
We learned
Stevie
so far from Stevie that there's a young lad, as I say, he's got a family, he's fairly happy, except they're very poor, and they struggle to get by, but they're happy they're doing it. Anyway, he's moving to the big city. Carl, this is the bit you didn't realise. Just play the track.
Okay, here we go. So this is halfway through.
This is halfway through the tune now. This is, you've not heard this before, have you?
Let's go.
Sorry, we accidentally played an episode of Kojak. By mistake. We were gonna play a song.
Carl, what did you make of that then?
Yeah, what's happening there then?
Eh? He was living with his family, he was fairly impoverished.
He's moved to the new bus he was on, was it?
Right, so
what's your take on it, Carl?
After hearing that, what I've worked out by it, the first part that we heard last week, everything's alright, but it's not that great living in Mississippi, right? So he goes, oh, I'm gonna go to New York. There's plenty of work there. Yeah. They'll sort of accept me as, you know, and everything. So he goes there, and, the weird thing is, he's hardly, like, been in New York for a second. He gets on a bus, all of a sudden some cop is arresting him. He's like, what's going on? And then he's got 10 years. I mean, what you can't hear, because the levels are quite bad. I mean, I work with sound. I can't really hear what's going on.
You're criticising Stevie Wonder,
I'm sort of guessing that he didn't pay his bus fare or something. And,
10 years!
He got 10 years for that.
I really don't know what was going on.
Right. But you're not happy, because obviously it's quite
Do you think Stevie Wonder left out some vital ingredients in the story, in your education? Like where it was, or... at least he got where it was. You can tell what year it is, it's, right in the mid-70s there, that funky New York 70s sound.
Alright.
Yeah.
You're pretty disappointed, aren't you? You're pretty worried, because...
So what went on?
Yeah.
What happened?
You know, you're aware, Carl, because that shows quite a bad image of New York. It's quite an intolerant city, by all accounts. They arrested a guy.
But it is quite
seemingly
bad,
for being black.
That's one song where you shouldn't go to New York. Killing a Georgie Rod Stewart. That lad, he was doing alright in Scotland and said, I'm gonna go to the big city. He got done in.
Yeah.
Seems to me it's that you don't go there if you've got, like, problems, don't think New York's the answer.
Right.
Oh, hold on, yeah. So what you're saying, that if you're a bit fed up with your life, but you live with your mum and she's, like, really nice and you got friends, and life's not that bad, don't go and be murdered, or what? What are you saying? Don't go and be murdered.
Well,
don't go and...
leave home.
What? Go on.
Leave home, but don't go to New York.
Right.
There's other places.
Where would you go? Sheffield?
Don't know, but...
Yeah.
But so you're a little mank lad, weren't you? You're in your garden. We had your train set. Your brother blew up. There was a horse next door, and you thought, oh, I want to go to London. So, do you know what I mean? You're like that.
Yeah, but
you're in many ways like the fella in that song, and like Georgie.
No, because
in many ways you are a bit like Georgie, aren't you?
I had a car, so...
No, are you a little bit like Georgie in many ways?
I didn't get on a bus, I had a car. So, I wasn't gonna have the problem he had, for a start.
Right.
But, I mean, I suppose there's loads of things you can look at that story and take out of it. That's what I like about the feature, right?
Radiohead, Let Down, off OK Computer. Apparently we missed a gig on that gig guide. Drip Feed are playing the Rock Garden on the 21st of this month.
Excellent.
So, the lead singer just called in with that. He also, left a quote with me, apparently, Coleridge said of Keats, wasn't it? He's, like an archangel slightly damaged.
Rick, I'm worried we're getting a little bit highbrow.
Do you reckon?
Have you got any knob gags you could do, quickly? Because I'm just thinking we're switching, there's a lot of people that are going to be turning off. I mean, currently on Capital FM, Chris Tarrant and Dr. Neil Fox, together at last. The partnership we've always wanted.
They said it would never happen. Do you know what I'd like to see together? That breakfast DJ, Sarah...
Cox.
And who's the dancer? Just Carl.
That'll be Carl Cox.
Carl, please. Why are you suddenly saying these rude words? You've been reprimanded once.
Don't
Carl,
say
please.
that, and don't say it so aggressively, because it sounds like you're saying Cox aggressively.
Come on, we've been reprimanded.
Yeah.
All right. Just don't use language like that.
That's annoying me.
Come on.
Why is it annoying you?
Because
we're talking about DJs. That's their names.
But you try to be clever.
I hardly think that's clever.
You've given me
Yeah, if that's my best attempt at being clever.
I've got rubbish homework this week.
Okay, he's really upset about
really
this.
Upset.
He was looking forward to animal fat.
You said you were going to bring in that big book, 500.
It's so... I got it off one of those bargain books. I thought it'd be easy, right? Because it's too elementary.
No, but that's more useful than that to me.
But it's things like the tortoise has a shell to protect it.
That's good.
Yeah, but you know...
Because you thought it was there just to be painted on your tip.
Oh, have you ever peeled a tortoise? They fly, they go about 400 miles an hour. It's to weigh them down because they're the fastest lizards known to man.
Exactly.
Honestly, they run so fast they can go through walls.
Yeah.
And so their shells put on them in the hospital, in the maternity ward, at a very early age, just slow them down. You let a tortoise shell and you won't catch it.
Steve, do you know that turtles can breathe out the bum?
Turtles can breathe out of their bum. I know someone who can talk out of it, but didn't realise that.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that. And how do they do that?
That's all I know. They go when they go swimming. They can sort of, if they don't want to stick their head out, they can just
stick their arse out.
Yeah.
Why don't they want to stick their head out?
Just if I don't know. Maybe they need to be looking for food under the water.
Yeah.
And if they stick their head up to get some air, they might miss something.
Wouldn't it be easier to have an arse that could forage for food? So they could sort of like lounge in the pool like a jacuzzi, and they're looking around going, alright, hello, hiya, and meanwhile its arse is like munching grass.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be easier?
Bad breath.
Well, I wish I understood what that meant.
Yeah.
In all this hilarity,
it's like a quote, isn't it?
But in all that this hilarity, I'm worried we've forgotten the true meaning of Easter. No, come on, Rick, come on. You're just, you're being frothy and lightweight and a little bit rude, but it's a time for remembering.
And chocolate.
That, someone did die for our sins.
Yeah.
So can we just...
Be ashamed to disappoint him.
Yeah, can we just think about that and just take a moment just to consider that?
Yeah, can we do that?
Alright. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
You understand the true meaning of Easter, it's not just about eggs and bunnies, you understand it, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your memory of it? What's your understanding of it, Carl? Easter, what's it all about for you?
What did you have to do at school? Did you have to do anything at school?
I think we got a long weekend off.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they call that weekend?
Easter weekend.
Brilliant.
Okay, and what was the reason for that? Why do we have Easter weekend off?
Jesus.
Yeah, but what did he do?
He put himself on the cross.
Yeah. Well,
he didn't put himself on.
No.
Does it mean anything to you? Are you moved by that story?
Again, too long ago for me to sort of...
Okay.
To
worry about
it.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if there'd have been an Anderson shouter involved,
yeah,
you'd have been there, wouldn't you? You're not well today, are you, Carl?
Not at all. Don't know what's wrong with me today. I've got a bit of a temperature.
Have you?
Do you know Steve, he's always on the go at me. Last night when we were out with his mates,
yeah,
they said he's a bit of a hypochondriac himself.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they say? What were they saying?
He said, I said, Steve's told me he's not feeling well. You know, is he alright? You live with him? He said, oh, don't worry about that.
Really?
He's always saying that, and I said, that's a bit of a fable. I said, cry wolf.
Yeah, one day you say I've got a temperature, and they go, oh, I've had the Lemsip, and he'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've learnt my lesson.
Yeah. There was one about the boy who cried wolf. The moral can surely only be never tell the same lie twice. You know what I mean? Because if he'd have, like, come up with a different one, he'd have kept him going all year, I reckon.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that before.
What are we gonna play?
A final tune. Have we got, we got a bit of Suede, haven't we?
Well, it depends.
Let's get a bit of Suede in hand song for the ladies. Let's go over.
You can't
What's the
ladies is very short.
It's only the football.
Don't say that. Yeah, give us your song.
What's the football? What's the match? What's this? The gig guide is Long Wave and Guapo and Plankers. What's this? What's the football match? So what are the football matches XFM covering?
Dunno. What
Come on.
would you like?
Track 8.
So Bolton versus Barnsley.
You don't like sport though, do you? A lot
Well-
of people who do.
Huh?
A lot of people who do. Right, track 8, what are we going for then?
We're going for, it's a bit of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah?
And, I think it's quite a short song though, Carl. Are you sure?
No, that's cool, yes.
It's okay, you're okay, are you?
Yeah.
So this is the final song, is
This lost a lot of energy, this show.
This is it.
I mean, the first hour and 40 minutes, I think, was dynamite. I think the last 10 have been,
But I
flagging.
think Carl, he was full of life, you know, he was answering the questions and stuff, and now you've
And he
lost it, mate.
got
You're
fed up. We got fed up with the quotations. He didn't like us mentioning Radio 1 DJs such as Sarah
Cox.
and Carl.
Oh, Cox?
Yeah, he didn't like that.